What's up, guys? It's the real main event, the Rogue Soldier, the essential John L. Crossfire.
And I'm Mrs Crossfire.
And once again, you guys are tuned into Caught
in Conversation. Shakalaka-laka.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 93 of Caught in Conversation. As always, I am your host, the essential John L. Crossfire. With me today is my co-host, my lovely wife. It is Mrs. Crossfire, a.k.a. ECW ring announcer Nova Lee. How are you today, my lovely wife?
I'm fantastic. How's everyone
It
going?
feels really weird asking you that, given the fact that we have just talked to the guest that they're about to hear for an hour, and now I'm asking you how you are, because what a great husband I am. No, it's just always this weird thing of just how we set it up, I guess, but we're talking to the Muzzdogg, and very fun conversation, and the funny thing is the conversation went almost exactly how I planned, because this, for the first time in history, I actually wrote a synopsis for the thumbnail. It was just kind of like a blanket one, like if I needed to go back and edit it, I'd edit it. I don't think I even need to edit it, because basically we had it on our mind. We're going to talk to Muzzdogg about his transformation journey, his return to Suplex, even at the end. Spoiler alert, the non-wrestling question, we asked him what his favourite Star Trek character was. It seemed fair because last week with Mighty Kai, we asked about Star Wars, so we got the best of both worlds. It wasn't even intended, but it was just a very fun conversation. It probably could have gone longer, but it was actually Muzzdog's birthday, so happy birthday once again to Muzzdogg, and thanks for jumping on. I still feel bad for that, but we should probably do the song and the match of the week, yeah?
Yeah.
So,
alrighty.
The song of the week?
Hey. I'm the co-host now. Let me do something at least.
Okay. Whoa.
Okay, so the song of the week is Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. And the reason behind that is just because we've got Muzzdogg on there.
It's the Rocky style.
Yeah.
The montage. Down.
Yeah. So because we've got the Muzz on, that's kind of why we went with that one.
So Eye of the Tiger by Survivor is the song of the week.
Yep.
Rising up.
So, what's the match of the week?
The match of the week.
What did we pick?
Now, in this conversation, Muzzdogg does mention Rock versus Austin at WrestleMania 17. People would argue that that is the best Rock-Austin match. However, this morning, as we record this, we actually watched Rock versus Austin at WrestleMania 19, because that's my personal favourite Rock versus Austin match, and I personally think it was better. Now, the promo video for the WrestleMania 17 one with My Way by Limp Bizkit is, that's chef's kiss for sure. That's probably still the best video promo of all time. But the one for this with, I can't think of the name of the song, but it's Limp Bizkit as well. Still pretty fucking good. Probably holds number 2 as the best video promo. But no, my personal favourite Rock versus Austin match, at least within the realm of the 3 WrestleMania matches I had, is Rock versus Austin WrestleMania 19. And of course, this tied in as well because it was Stone Cold's last match ever up until WrestleMania 38 when he did that. You know, it was rumoured for ages, but then it's a surprise match. It goes from the Kevin Owens show to him versus Kevin Owens, which is still awesome to me. And I'm like, everyone wanted Kevin Owens to go to AEW, but he stayed, and they're like, oh, that's a bad move. Yeah, okay, here only got to main event WrestleMania with his fucking hero, Stone Cold Steve Austin. But yeah, match of the week, Rock versus Austin, WrestleMania 19. Mwah, chef's kiss. But I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think we should put our hands together, and I think because Miss Nova Lee is the official ring announcer for Extreme Capital Wrestling, I think that on these episodes, because you're not going to be on every interview, but you're going to try and make a habit of being on most of them now.
At the moment,
I think when we do these intros, I think you should give us the proper thing.
I can do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, Mrs. Crossfire, if you go into put your hands together.
Okay, alrighty. So, let me just get into character here. Just kidding. Me, la la la.
Alright, get us with it.
Alright, making his Caught in Conversation
debut.
Sorry about that.
Take it from the top. I'm going to lead this in.
Shit the bed anyway. Making his Caught in Conversation debut, the Muzzdogg.
And the crowd goes wild.
Hey, it's my first time doing this. It's all good. It's all good.
You're sounding very attractive this morning, this afternoon.
I'm going to leave that in.
That's what she said.
It's funny that you mentioned that, actually, because I've actually got Mrs. Crossfire, Nova Lee, whatever you want to call her. This is actually, now that she's the official co-host, this is the first interview that she's actually jumping in on. So I guess that is what she said.
Oh,
after all.
exciting.
Well, I'm ready to just jump in whenever you are, man. Like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, as we record this, it's, what day is it? Monday, the 19th of February. It's actually Muzzdog's birthday today as we're recording this. So first of all, happy birthday again. I did wish you happy birthday on socials, but secondly, thank you for actually, like, I didn't realise it was your birthday when we organised this. I'm surprised you didn't just tell me to fucking bugger off because you wanted to have your day to yourself or whatever, because Lord knows I would. But no, I appreciate you jumping
Why
on.
would I do that? This is the best birthday present. Getting to talk to Mr. and Mrs. Johnny Crossfire.
I think even though by the time this goes out, it'll be Sunday this coming week, I think I might even have to put a birthday hat on Muzzdog's promo photo. But no, I appreciate you jumping on, man. Like, fucking, you could be celebrating and doing whatever else, and here you are. But I think you kind of, you know, the drill sort of thing. I've given Mrs. Crossfire a copy of my notes as well, so that hopefully we don't derail this shit too far, because Lord knows between the three of us actually, but between the two of us, you and I, we're both ADHD as fuck, and this conversation could end up going for 3 hours. But you've talked about, you know, you don't usually watch a lot of current day wrestling, which is fine. But if we can break the ice here, so people can get to know the Muzzdogg, what is your earliest wrestling memory, Muzz?
Well, when I was a young fella, my parents had me diagnosed with ADHD, so I was on a drug called dexamphetamine, and they would keep me up for part of the night. So I was flipping through. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Flipping through the 4 channels that we used to have on TV on my old CRT TV, and I came across the show WWF Superstar. And all I remember seeing Kane on there and looking at it and thinking, holy crap, what is this? And then I didn't see it for a long time after that. And then my parents got us Fox still, and we had Fox 8. So I watched a lot of SmackDown, got heavily addicted to SmackDown. I'd record it on VCR, like on VHS every week or every fortnight, whatever it was on. And then I felt as though I was missing half of the storylines because I didn't realise that there was a show called Raw as well on, I think it was on Fox Sports, and they kept showing videos of this Raw as War, and I'm like, what's Raw as War? But we didn't have the Fox Sports channel, so I couldn't watch it. But that's all right. I watched SmackDown with the Marilyn Manson intro song, and
yes,
it was good.
People,
yes.
Fucking still one of the best intros they've had. It's not even nostalgia; it's just awesome. But from what point, from becoming hooked to wrestling and Muzz, like at what point does Muzzdogg then decide that he wants to do that one day, or he could do that one day, and when did you eventually take that step?
Well, it all started when I saw a show poster for the first Suplex show that took place at Hexham, and it had, and I've told Bobby Bishop this story a couple of times. It had a photo of him. Bobby Bishop, absolute legend. I've seen a photo of him with a Super Nintendo controller hanging like in his hand.
Yes,
I thought, I've got to go see this bloke. Yeah, so I got an old Nintendo, like an original Nintendo, and I got an old weightlifting back belt, and I attached the Nintendo to the back belt, and I took it in as a retro Nintendo title belt. and he signed it for me. I've still got it hanging up in the garage.
That's fucking awesome.
So I kept going to shows. I went to about 5 or 6 shows. I think Jack Payne was our champion at the time, and I went to a homegrown show at Talara, and Spade, one of my best mates in the whole world, Spade, was up on the turnbuckle, and he looked at me in the crowd. He goes, "This one's for you, Muzz." And then he punched whoever it was in the face. I thought, oh God, that's so good. And then I think chapter 8 was when after that I decided to go and try out because they had a tryout, and I went, and happy days. I was training 3 or 4 times a week for a while there.
Was Suplex your first taste of like Aussie wrestling, or like were you aware of Aussie wrestling before like that point, or?
I'd seen ads for Newey Pro down at Charlestown Square. They always had, outside the cinema, they had a electronic sign. So I knew of wrestling, but I'd never actually seen a show in person. The first thing I can remember is Spaceman versus James versus Jackson Spade, and the thing that drew me was how loud the boards were when they were bumping on them.
Yes, that's
so
always a
loud.
shock for everyone, because you watch WWE and you're like, oh, it's just because of the microphones, this, that, whatever, and then you get there in person and you're like, fuck.
You think, fucking hell, how did he not break his spine doing that fucking pile drive? Unreal.
I tell the story about my mum all the time on the pod. Like, on TV, she won't watch it. Like, she thinks it's garbage, this, that, whatever. But the live shows, like, she loves them so much. And I remember the first time she went to a live show with me, she literally looked at me and she's like, oh, so like, you were telling the truth. It's not just the trampoline. I'm like, why the fuck would I lie about that? Like, they landed on wood and steel, mate. Like,
it sucks, and and I hate it when I hear people say, "Oh, it's fake." There's really not. Like, you get injured every match you go out there, you come back battered and bruised and sore.
Was there a certain moment though when you were watching, Kane and Stone Cold and Undertaker and all your favourites? Was there a certain moment as a kid that made you say like you want to do that, or did you ever think about like getting into it, or was it just that you kind of saw the poster and were like, hey, let's just go to the show, and it just built from there?
When I was having a look through one of my old diaries that I found from school. You know how they make you write in a journal?
Yep.
And one of the pages, I'll have to try and find a picture of it. It talks about what I want to be when I grow up. And one thing was an astronaut, and the other thing was a WWF wrestler.
So the love was always there.
It was always there, yeah.
Yeah, that was back in the late 90s, early 2000s when we first got the Foxtel.
Was there a certain match or moment that made you feel that way, or was it just the, we're ADHD as fuck, we're just sucked in by the glamour of it all? Was it just the entire spectacle, or was there a certain wrestler or match that kind of made you go, fuck, I could do that, or? I
always liked the power moves, like the stuff Stone Cold Steve Austin did. He's my all-time favourite. And pretty much, I think the first ever main event I ever watched, like the first ever pay-per-view, was WrestleMania 17, and that whole storyline leading up to The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, that had me enamoured. And I'd come home from school and I'd be wrestling all my sister's teddies, and I'd be wrestling my sister. Eventually, wrestling got banned in our house because I hit my sister with a chair. And Mum didn't like that. She's like, "No, we're not doing that anymore." So, yeah. And I gave my cousin a pedigree once when he was a little kid, and nearly spine busted him. Like, I really hurt him. I had to stop. Oh, God. They don't make them like they did in the Attitude Era.
I think I put my brother through 2 futons. Like, we just bent the frame on them.
I broke 3 beds doing backwards suplexes. 3 of them, and they were all brand new, and they were within about a week of each other. I broke all 3, and Mum's like, "Yeah, no, we're not doing this anymore."
Yeah, this isn't making me look forward to having kids at all.
Yeah, well, my cousin, we call, his name's Aaron, but we call him Azza. He was the same. I think he spine busted me through fucking one of his like old bed frames. And I was so I can't remember if it was a spine buster or a power bomb. It was something like that. But remember, he was living with my nan at the time, and my nan comes in. And she's like, "What the fuck do you bastards think you're doing?" And it's like, "Well, we were wrestling, but now our ring's broken." And she's like, "What do you mean the ring's broken? You just broke the fucking bed." And we're just like, well. And the best part is obviously Mrs Crossfire, having met my Ned, she can literally picture that fucking impersonation is just
that. Yep.
But I feel like Muzz's family is pretty similar to mine. Like his mum or nan would probably be pretty much the same. Like
my mum hates the wrestling. She won't watch a show, and she's got me kids. She's got me kids not wanting to go see me. I think I finally talked my youngest into come and watch me wrestle at the next show, but she's just worried I'm going to get hurt, which I probably will. But
yeah, that's completely understandable, because like before I lost Dad, he was the same. He always he came to support me and cheer me on and shit, but he always said very openly, He's like, I don't like this because I don't want you to get hurt. And obviously this was before everything with my eyes happened beforehand. I just had general eye stuff. And he's like, I don't want it to make, you know, your health worse or this or that. But at the end of the day, it was like, look, if it makes you happy, you know, shit happens sort of thing. And eventually he came around and he started coming to shows before he passed. But hopefully, I'm sure one day something will tick and Mum will be like, fuck, I've got to come see this. Surely.
I hope so.
Muzz will have to just add that to the bucket list. Like, just get Mum to one show. Because I guarantee once you get her to one show, she'll sit there and she'll be like, fuck, like, I'm coming to more.
She'll start buying into the storylines, be like, shit, this is like the soaps at home.
Like fucking, you know, Sloppy Joe, more Sloppy just got fired, you know, by old Timmy Wilkes, you know. Shout out to Timmy. Never had a bad thing to say about him. Wink, wink. But, you know, that Sloppy Joe will be like beating down on Muzzdogg, and I can just see Mama Muzzdogg from the fucking crowd, like, throwing a chair into the ring, like, that's my fucking son.
Sloppy Joe got sacked yesterday.
Yes, I saw that. I can't wait to see where this goes. I mean, he showed up even though he was suspended, so I'm sure old Timmy will have fun with that and probably make your life a living hell. And I mean, Frankie threatened to cook you into a bone broth or something, that's something out of some sort of serial killer documentary that I recently watched. But Jesus Christ! But you obviously
he's a strange man.
Your journey in Suplex, albeit somewhat short at this point, has been very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like very, very, very polarizing, I think is the word I'm looking for. Impactful, because, you know, you come in and you've done a bit of everything. Like, you've done some comedy, you've done some, you know, strong style. Yeah, even as of late, you know, you've come back with this massive transformation, which is what I'm getting to. But you even did some hardcore stuff with Spade, and I guess whether intentional or not, Sloppy gave you that little beat down with the concerto as well. But tell us about Muzz. Like, obviously, you know, you took time off for whatever reason, you know, politics aside, health aside, whatever. You've come back and you've had this, just, it's an amazing transformation. I don't want to, it sounds fucking cliche to say it, but I don't know how else to put it, man. You've had this amazing body transformation. So could you just tell us, like, what was it like, not only like, you know, being back in the locker room and being back on shows again, but Tell us a little bit about this process, because again, you know, you've said it yourself on, you know, we've got each other on our personal Facebook page. You've said, you know, look, I'm not a doctor, but, you know, tell us a little bit, you know, about your process and how you've got to where you are. Because, dude, you're jacked as fuck right now, and I'm just like, bro.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Never gets old hearing that. Well, pretty much. I started off, I was 136.6 kilograms, and I had really bad sleep apnea. I was waking up choking. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move around in my bed even. I was always in pain. My back was always going out. My knees are starting to go a little bit. I was just constantly injured and had indigestion all the time, and it was really it was killing me. And one day, I work night shift. I'm an aged care nurse, and an aged care employee at Calvary. And I was on the computer doing my notes and stuff. I thought, I'm going to search for good diets for night shift. And intermittent fasting came up, and I did a bit more research, and yeah, it worked. It really, really worked. And I just now I've gone from, I lost the 50 kilos, and then I did a bulk, and I put another 10 on. So I weighed in today at 95.65. So now I'm going to try and cut back to 90 and tone up some of that muscle that I've been putting on the last 3 months. Yeah, like, I'm getting stronger.
Yeah, because I pinched your photo in the Flesh clothing. Shout out to them. Obviously, I don't know if I know who owns it. I don't know if he's announced it publicly or not, but, you know, Muzzdogg obviously sponsored the first official sponsored athlete for Flesh clothing, and I saw that the photo you put up in the singlet and the shorts. So I've stolen that one for the thumbnail. And I'm like, the little pose you're doing, and I was just like, fuck me, dude. Like, it's a completely different person, and it's awesome to see, because honestly, I loved you either way. Like, you've always been a good bloke by me, but just seeing, you know, the confidence that you've grown from it, and, you know, the obvious health advantages that it does give you, it's like, it's inspiring as fuck. What are words? Because like what was I? I've lost 24 kilos literally just from changing my eating habits. Because obviously I can't do much exercise at the moment while the stitches are in my eye because it can exert and basically burst. But just from I'm not going to say clean eating, but cleaner eating, and I'm drinking pretty much nothing but water these days. Like the weight's fallen off me, and I'm like, fucking hell. My goal weight originally was 110, and I'm literally sitting on 110 before I've even started actually being able to fucking work out, which is crazy to me. But like it's inspiring, man. And hopefully one day we can mix it up. Fucking I don't care. Fucking if it's a 2-minute squash, I just want to say I wrestled the Muzzdogg at this point because he's a good bloke. But like. Obviously,
I'd put you over. I couldn't squash you. I'd put you over.
But it's like, as I said, you did take that little bit of time off. What was it like, politics and the initial reason for leaving aside, whatever, being back in the locker room and performing on shows? How does it feel just to be back? And what was it like, that initial roar of the crowd? Because I can say firsthand, and obviously Miss Novalee, she's got a microphone herself, but I think she can confirm, when we saw those photos, and even when the storyline between you and Spade kind of started building, and I was like, is this cunt teasing a return?
Yeah, it's like fuck, his muzz coming back.
I was like, is he actually going to do it? And then when the match was announced, and then just seeing the photos, and you're standing on the top rope holding, I don't know if it was a baseball bat or a cricket bat, I can't remember. But like, you were just standing on the
baseball bat.
Yeah, you were standing on the ropes holding the baseball bat for the fucking no DQ match, and I was just like, fucking yes! I was like, he's actually happening, he's back! Like, I was popping just sitting in my fucking armchair, man. So like, what was it like, just the feeling of being back is the long or the short of the question, I guess.
Yeah, it was great. The Suplex guys and gals were very welcoming, and the backstage atmosphere was brilliant. We had a really, really good show, and it was just everybody was just getting along. It was amazing. I had a really, really fun time, even though Spade stiffed the shit out of me with that garbage can, which
I saw that clip the next morning, and I literally was like, hey, I was so fucked.
He's just like, that's for fucking leaving.
He bends down to me, he goes, you hit me too fucking hard, because I just smashed him with the garbage can lid. And I've only ever done 2 hardcore matches. One was against Goran, and one was against Spade, and I didn't realise I was hitting him so hard, and I hit him with the wrong side of the chair, and if you watch the video, you see him pull that bin. He's going to hate me telling you this. It's so fucking funny. He pulls that bin through the ropes, and it smashes him in the face.
He turns around.
And I turn around, and he just drops me with it. There was no selling there, bro. He fucking smashed me. I had a hematoma on my shoulder for about a week.
Oh, man.
He fucked me up.
It's the old receipt.
Yeah, and it's the first ever receipt that I've got, and we were backstage laughing our guts up about it. He's like, you fucking hit me so hard, cunt. And I'm like, why? I didn't know. I was just excited.
I wasn't feeling it, bro.
Just happy to be there.
Like, at the end of the day, I always hate pulling the curtain back too much, but at the end of the day, it's a fucking podcast, right? But like, I always say, like, Big James, someone that, one of my mates, you and him have been talking a fair bit lately. I had his first match. I had his first ever match, and like, he's my best mate, and it was this weird thing of, he's a rookie, I'm still green as goose shit. I'm the babyface, but I've got to carry the match because it's his first match. Like, fuck me, it was just big clusterfuck. Yeah. And then they're like, we'll just make it no DQ to hide his weaknesses. I'm like, yeah, cool, no worries. And here's us just welting each other with fucking wet floor signs and chairs and shit. And it wasn't even that we were inadvertently stiffing each other. We just went out there and we're like, look, we're best mates. We'll deal with it after the fact. Like, we just went out there and just welted the fuck out of each other.
Yeah,
and then now we look at it, and we still had people going, you could have hit each other harder, and we're like looking at the bruises on our backs and our ribs and shit, and we're like, are you fucking serious? Like, do you want to take one of those? And they're like, nah, we're good, mate. That's what I fucking thought. But no, I'm really excited to see you back, and I'm glad that it's not just a one-off. I was waiting for it. I'm like, surely you'll get the bug, and then sure as shit, the next day or the day after, whatever it was, you did that video and you did the old Goldberg of who's next, and I was like, fuck yes, like, let's go. So are you going to be on? Are you going to be on every Suplex show going forward, or the majority of them, or what's the plan here?
I'm going to try. I've taken the next show day off work because I usually I usually work the night before the show, and then I'll go home and I'll go for my walk and I'll have a couple of hours sleep, and then I'll go down to the club and I'll wrestle, and then straight after I leave and go back to work. So some nights I'm going to work limping around and it's really hard, but I'm looking forward to having that night off. I had the last show night off. So, yeah, I intend on being on every show that I can. As long as he's got storylines for me, I'm happy to be there.
That's the best way to be, man. I'm just hoping one of these days you can get enough time off work that you can actually travel. Well, not in the state because I'm technically still New South Wales, but travel for one of our shows because I'd love to see more of the Muzzdogg, and I think more of Australia wants to see more of the Muzzdogg. Like the following that you've built, like you are the perfect example of like everyone complains about, you know, social media and this and that. You are one of the prime examples of the positives of social media because the following that you've built on your just from your socials alone is fucking ridiculous. Like in the best way possible. In the best way possible.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like fucking like I still want to get my hands on one of those Black Pug fucking skateboard decks. They were fucking awesome, but I'm broke, so I have to wait for one of those. But
I've still got a few of them floating around.
What are some of your favourite matches of all time, Muzz? Both that you've seen and ones that you have had so far.
You mean on TV or in the indie? Like
any match you've seen ever, whether it's on TV or live. Doesn't matter, and then of course the ones that you've had yourself as well.
Well, Austin versus The Rock at WrestleMania 17 is probably one of my favorite matches. I still go back and watch that. Like I usually when I'm on YouTube or when I had the network, I'd be watching Attitude Era SmackDowns and Raws and stuff. The TLC match on that show was great as well.
Yes. I've ranted way too much about that match specifically on this show.
Yeah, amazing. Back then, like tag team wrestling doesn't really interest me as much as like doing the singles thing. Like I enjoy it. Like it's good having a partner out there. Then there's not as much pressure on you and stuff, and you can feed off each other. But back then was just the epitome of great tag team wrestling. Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, the Dudleys, Too Cool. It was just top tier wrestling. Indie stuff. All my favourite matches have pretty much been against people like Jackson Spade. He's you can really tell what a pro he is and how much experience he's got just by how much better he can bump you and hip toss you and suplexes and all that sort of stuff. Like just how he works the crowd. So I've wrestled him I think 3 times now. One of them was at Cessnock Show, and brilliant, just so good. And Sloppy Joe, he's probably one of my favorite people on the planet. I was hanging out with him last night, like not trying to break kayfabe or anything, but you know, me and him are good mates. Even though we flogged the shit out of each other in the ring. Yeah, all the matches I've had with him have been really good.
He's another one. He's come. I can't wait to see, like, all jokes aside, like, I can't wait to see where this, because I have a slight idea because of what he's told me, but obviously we don't want to reveal that shit. That's going way too deep. But I can't wait to see where this, like, whole firing thing goes because it's going to be fucking sick. Like, I cannot wait. It's going to be so awesome.
Yes, it will be. Yeah, everyone stay tuned. Stay tuned to Suplex the shows because you're going to really enjoy what's happening.
Yeah, Timothy Wilkes is going to be in for a lot of trouble, which pleases me greatly because, you know, obviously as the leader of Wilkes Talent Factory, fuck that guy.
We love giving Timmy shit.
No, it's going to be awesome. Man. Like, I can't wait to watch it all unfold on socials, and I just can't wait for this eye to get better because Spade keeps telling me, he's like, there's a spot on Suplex, like when as soon as you want it, like we can beat each other up. And I'm like, you better not retire another 10 times until then, Spade. Like,
oh, Johnny Farnham of Suplex, yeah, we've been through that.
He keeps telling me.
He makes fun of me because
he keeps telling me, get your eye better so we can beat each other up. So I'm like, I'm going to hold you to that, motherfucker.
Oh God! Get your eye better so I can stick a light tube in. That's his attitude.
Yeah, he's like, get it better so just so I can fucking poke it out. Like,
rub some dirt on it.
I'm sure Mrs Crossfire will be loving that. It's But I didn't actually forewarn you for the questions that I got sent in. I only got sent in 2 questions. One was the transformation question, which was one that I already had anyway. The other one's a bit emotional, so I'm hoping I don't make you too emotional because I said it's your birthday and all that. But Joel Southgate asked me a question, and I couldn't not ask this, but he wanted to know what were some of your favourite memories of Kyle Ede, and what do you miss most about Kyle? Because even just reading that question, I was like, you son of a bitch, you done.
Why do you have to ask that?
Because shows, even just from footage I've seen, at any company in general, shows just don't seem like they're the same without him now. And I don't know if it's just this thing that I can't get over in my brain, or if it's actually happening or what. But it just... Man, I always said that Southgate was the number 1 super fan in Australian wrestling, but I even said Kyle had surpassed him, and that was just before he passed. So it's just, we literally lost our biggest super fan, and it's still crazy to think that it's been as long as it has. It was 6 months the other day, and it boggled my fucking mind.
Wow, it's hectic, isn't it? I was actually with Spade on that morning. I can't remember what we're doing. I think we're going to Sydney, so we had to pick up some equipment for one of the shows. I wasn't even back on shows yet. He just wanted me to go for a drive.
That's what the Muzz does.
Yeah.
I still used to do advertising and stuff for him, but and he said to me, "Kyle Ede's dead." I'm like, no fucking way. And I got on there and I messaged Kyle and I said, "Fuck, I hope what I've just heard isn't true." Obviously, never got a response, and looked it up, and here's all the stories coming out. My best memories of Kyle were just listening to him talk shit. It was just hilarious. The way he would get up in people's faces and really stir all the locker room and that. He got legitimate heat. He got more heat than some of the heels that we had working there. It was great.
Hey, that's the fucking truth.
He was a crowd worker, that cunt. He really was. I was talking to him probably, I'd say it was 2 days before he died. We were chatting in the inbox and that, and that's why it was such a shock because, we'd literally just been talking. And then it all happens. And I look back through his posts on Facebook, and the last post I think he put up was, "I feel sick," with a spew emoji.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Because even the funny thing is, even though he was feeling sick, he was still laying in bed on his phone. He and I were legit sending memes and fucking Instagram reels to each other 8 to 10 hours beforehand. And then I woke up, I actually had a missed call from Benny the back rower. And I was like, I talk to Benny, semi-regularly, but the only time I've ever actually called him was when I did his episode of the podcast. I was like, fuck. So I just messaged him and I'm like, everything all good, dude? And he's just like, I just wanted to let you know, fucking Kyle passed away. And I was just like, it took me hours and hours to process it. And then Kyle's dad actually tried to contact me randomly because he knew that we were, I wouldn't say close, because I only actually met him one time in person, and that was at the Impact show. And I'm glad I took that photo. But literally every day we'd just send memes and just talk random fucking wrestling and mark out as you do. But Kyle's dad tried to contact me, and I was like, fuck. I was like, the fact that Kyle's dad didn't have to try and contact me, but he's dealing with, I'm still trying to deal with my loss of my dad 5 years on, and I know that, we've got 3 people on this pod that talk about that. We fucking went way too deep into that into the episode we recorded yesterday, but the fact that this dude's dad was going out of his way to contact me instead of, essentially grieving his child, I was just like, that fucking blew my mind. And that's when it kind of became real. I was like, I legit started crying, and Teek's like, did it just hit you? And I'm like, well, Kyle's dad just tried to contact me, and I was like, I didn't know what to fucking do, man. Because I genuinely missed it because my phone just lives on silent. And I was just like, I just got a missed call on Facebook from Kyle's dad. I was like, I don't know, how the fuck do I call him back? What do I do? And eventually he just sent me a friend request, so I accepted it, and then he just, tagged us all in the thing and whatever, saying that all the details and shit, and I was just like, fucking hell, man. But no, I feel the funny thing is you say that, he got more heat, and I'm probably not going to put that we talk about him in the description just because I don't want people to think I'm using him for clicks or whatever, but I'm glad we're talking about it here. But you say he gets more heat than the actual wrestlers, and that was the funny thing, and this is why I wish more fans would do, and Southgate does it himself as well, but at the end of the day, we're on a podcast discussing professional wrestling. We know what it is, this, that, whatever. But when Kyle was in the crowd, 99.9, like there was a few people times he'd cheer for the heel if they were like his mates or his favourites, but 99% of the time he'd always cheer the faces and boo the heels. Like he loved to play along. And I always do that when I go to a wrestling show, regardless of what promotion it is. Like it makes it so much more fun. Like it's still real to me, dude. Yeah. You know, like we've all seen that video, but like it's just I feel like as I said, even now I feel like it's still a loss. And even, you know, Southgate and a few others have said that the Suplex shows, from what I've, you know, heard and seen, you know, the fans are still going off, but a lot of the companies that he travelled to in New South Wales, apparently the crowds are pretty fucking dead now that he's not there. Like, they're still packing arenas, which is great, but hey, if you've got 150 people there but they're not making any noise, it's like the old, you know, if a tree falls in a woods sort of thing. Like, yeah, you got their money, but if they're sitting on their fucking hands, man, like, is it really worth it at the same time? But yeah, just asked me, he's like, what are some of your favourite memories of Kyle? And I'm like, well, I don't want to go too deep here and make you all emotional, but I thought, no, it's probably a question that I said to the missus, I'm like, should I add that to the list, or, you know?
Yeah, no, we've got to talk about him because we want people to remember what a good bloke he was. Like, he was a really lovely fella, and he was very genuine. Like, he wasn't just some mark. Like, he genuinely wanted to support us and buy all our merch and, you know, keep the wrestling. Like, he wouldn't have been on much money, but he spent it all on the wrestling shows. Like, it just shows you how dedicated he was as a fan.
Yeah, we worked a minimum wage job at Macca's, and pretty much every cent that he made went towards some sort of wrestling show. And there, there's concerts here and there, but majority of it, and even his dad said, was just wrestlers and buying the merch. And he kept literally every time I posted an update about my eyes and stuff, he was always one more step to seeing you wrestle, one more step to seeing you wrestle. And he kept saying, he's like, I want to be there, I want to be there. And I'm like, I'm probably, like, when I am cleared, I'll probably, as cheesy as it is, I'll probably write his name, like, on my wrist tape or something, just so that, but he's just, I've got the messages there where, he kept saying to me, like, I can't wait, because he's like, I went back and I watched some of your matches, and I'm like, oh, fuck, don't do that, those were horrible, but, like, he kept saying to me, like, he can't wait for me. And even when we met him in Impact, he said the same thing, to my wife. He's like, make sure you take care of him, make sure he does the right thing so we can get him back in the ring. And my wife's just kind of like, I'd prefer him to just kind of be healthy enough to be my husband, but that's fair enough. Like he's like, no, make sure you take care of him. We need him back in the ring. And I was just like, thanks, mate. People take it for granted, man. Like, obviously as kids, you picture yourself at WrestleMania and all, like, the cheesy shit. But at the end of the day, and you've said it so many times publicly, and I think it's worth noting on the pod, that, like, at the end of the day, wrestling to some extent when we were kids gave us some sort of feeling or experience or emotion that, like, we now just want to basically return that to other people and just continue almost a circle of life. I don't want to get too fucking philosophical, but I don't know how else to describe it, sort of thing. But, like, fans like Kyle, 100% like why I decided I wanted to do this, because it's like I want to make people feel like, the wrestlers from my generation made me feel, and Kyle is definitely a testament to that kind of thing, I guess. What are words? But,
fully agree.
Who are some of your dream opponents though, Muzzdogg? And I'm talking, like, if you want to go dead or alive, past, present, whatever, who are some of your dream opponents, both internationally, locally, whatever, and what are some of your dream stipulations that you'd like to be a part of?
This is probably the easiest question you can ask me today, and I think you might know. It's Mr. Ryback. I know a lot of people didn't like him, but I've been watching his podcast for the last probably 5 months. I've watched easily 110 hours of his stuff, but I just think both our styles would be beautiful together. We could make quite a good match. And I've watched his indie stuff, like who did he fight? I think it was on an AWF show. It wasn't TNT. It was some guy in a costume. Just brilliant. Just really the way he moves. Even if you look at his podcast and see how injured he was, the way he still was able to throw up them shell shops and stuff while he had, like, his shoulders fucked and his ankle and his back and that, just brilliant.
the infamous tour where he didn't get paid. And he was very public about the fact that he didn't get paid.
Oh, he doesn't fuck around, mate. He's not scared of anyone. He's going to take on a billionaire.
As a character, I wasn't a fan of the Ryback gimmick, but as a dude, I don't know him personally. I'm like, as a bodybuilder, he's fucking awesome. But the best part is, like, I don't follow his content, like, obviously to the extent that you do, because I'm personally not a fan per se, but I don't hate him like the rest of the internet does. And I literally laugh because when he tweets stuff out, I'm like, do you dudes not realise that he's literally working every single fucking one?
100% work. And that thing he put up about CM Punk and retiring, I seen it as soon as he posted it. He put his Feed Me More Nutrition hashtag at the end of it, and his company, his supplement company, would have got trended like a motherfucker because of all the marks sharing and posting and going on about him retiring and stuff. And he reckons his sales went straight up through the roof.
Because I saw
just from that.
I saw the follow up where he was like, "Oh, I meant if he returned to AEW." And the best part is, I said to one of my friends who was like raging about him because he hates him. He was like, "Oh, this motherfucker! Like, oh, he said it's like he was never going back to AEW." And it's like, but if for whatever reason that same episode of AEW that was on at the same time as Survivor Series, if he had showed up on that, he literally would have just flipped it and went, "Oh, but I meant if he returned to WWE." Like, he's literally just...
he's continuing it on, doing more free advertising.
Regardless of which way it goes, there was an AEW show, there was a WWE show, there was rumors he was going to be on one of them. He would have just flipped it around on all of you anyway. Like, the dude is fucking brilliant in that sense. Brilliant. And it's popped the shit out of me because I was just like, I looked at it, and I don't actually follow him on Twitter because, again, I'm like, look, he does his bodybuilding stuff, that's cool, like I'm just not into that kind of stuff. But I'm like, for the people that are following him, like, just for the sake of, like, trolling him and stuff, and then they're getting mad, essentially, because he's trolling them, I'm just sitting there, like, literally laughing my ass off, because I'm like, you motherfuckers are trying to be, like, sitting in your mum's basement, like, fucking, trying your best to get blocked by him or whatever, or try and throw your best insult at him, and with one tweet, works you all into a fucking frenzy, and he's probably legit just sitting there laughing his ass off himself, like.
Yeah, he was having a good old time.
But before we get sidetracked too much, we'll go back to what are some of your dream stipulations that you'd like to do, and just what are some of your favourite ones you like to watch in general?
Stipulations. I always like the Inferno match. I don't think we'll ever do one on Suplex, but I always like that sort of stuff.
Has there ever been an Inferno match in Australia, do you reckon?
The Muscle Clan would probably fucking do it. He'll end up setting fire to it with his fire breathing stuff.
Oh, I still love the clip.
Have you seen it?
I love the clip when he did it to Benny in the pit, and I was like, fuck.
It's brilliant. And I've told him, I'll take that. I thought it looked fucking scary as shit. I said, and I'm usually very picky with moves that I'll take and with things that I'll do, and if I think it's stupid, I won't do it. But I said to him, I would feel safe with you blowing fire in my face.
So I'd let him singe me back hairs, but just because of my eye issues, I wouldn't, risk the face too much. But I'd trust him enough to singe me back hairs. I don't know how my wife feels about that, but
going back to the Infernal match stuff.
But has there been one in Australia?
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been one in Australia.
Xavier Black, not long ago, wasn't there fire or something? In
they did
matches?
like a flaming door or some shit. But like, has there been an actual?
Really.
We've had fire a handful of times in Australia.
Yeah.
But have we done it? Has there ever been an actual Inferno match in Australia? Like, some cunt's going to yell at me and be like, "You stupid motherfucker! It happened in 1992." And I genuinely, off the top of my head,
I can't think of one.
There's been casket matches. There's been fucking barbed wire matches. This that. I genuinely don't think there's. I suppose because Australia fire codes as well are a lot more,
stricter.
A lot stricter. That's the word I'm looking for than fucking America. But like,
yeah.
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
I'm gonna have to go look into that because that's genuinely just boggling my mind. But continue, Muzzdogg. I'm sorry.
ADHD.
No, you're right, mate. I've talked to Spade. Told Spade that we should do cage matches for Suplex. I think that'd be pretty sick. It's expensive getting all the gear together, but once you got it, it'd be pretty cool.
I love the cage that PWA has because I'd argue, people go back and forth because Melbourne's like the wrestling capital of the country, which it is. But I'd argue that overall PWA is probably still the number one promotion in Australia and have been for the last few years. I love the cage setup that they have. Because, like, it's literally, it's not the traditional chicken wire, but it's literally just 4 sides. So it's like, it's affordable-ish. And if you were to, like, you know, get the right person to make it, pretty fucking sturdy. Like, if I ever had a ring, I'd be like, I'm just going to get one of those ones. Like, I don't care if they think I'm ripping them off. It's a fucking great idea. Just bang, 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 4 parts. Slap them together, it's still fucking steel. I could see Spade doing one like that. Fucking oath.
Yeah, I reckon it'd be pretty cool. Draw people in. People love that sort of stuff. I also have said to Spade that we need to go back to the old school WWF days where they used to have dark boxing matches before the show started. I really think that'd be a draw. Like, remember when Bart Gunn got knocked out by Butterbean?
Yes, another one of Muzzdog's heroes. Fucking. Well,
yeah, Butterbean. I talked to him pretty frequently on Facebook and that.
You got like a shark tooth. Was it like a pen or something made out of a fucking shark tooth or something like that he made?
I got. It was alligator teeth. I used that one at work, and I've got I've got an alligator jawbone shaver, like razor handle that you put. I think Gillette Max 3s on it. It's reusable. Yeah.
It's just insane to think like that this
expensive.
big burly dude who got famous for knocking people out is now just basically doing arts and crafts for money, and he's fucking killing it. Like, it's so cool.
I watched a documentary on him just the other day because he's coming back. He's coming back to fight. He's put up a post asking people, do they want him to fight Mike Tyson or Jake Paul, or there's a couple of others.
Yeah, I remember Jake Paul kind of said tongue-in-cheek that he'd fight Butterbean, and I was like, please. It's like, there's no denying Jake Paul is a good boxer, but he's fighting either lower-level people or he's doing the exhibition-type matches. It's like, no, face Butterbean in a proper regulated boxing match.
Yeah, you're
fucking
shit.
Please.
Yeah, well, see, Butterbean went through the DDP yoga.
Yes, dude, he looks phenomenal, man.
Yeah, he's, and I've said to him, you inspired me, because that was another reason that I was inspired to lose weight, because I thought my character was the Butterbean character, and I thought Butterbean's fat, so I can stay fat. But then he started losing weight and looking good, and I thought, oh fuck, I can't really copy him now because he's changing, so I need to change. That was another reason why I started to lose weight, was Butterbean doing that. But the whole bodybuilding thing that I'm doing now, that's inspired by people like Tim Cade and
shout out to him. I'd love to get him on the fucking pod. Tim Cade is a freaking machine.
He's just a wealth of knowledge, eh? Like, that bloke, me and him have talked for ages on stuff. Goran, who else? Just all the big guys in wrestling. Like,
I'd argue that Goran, and I'm sure there's people in like other states like Western Australia or whatever, South Australia, that would probably take offence to this, but I would argue that, you know, they say that everyone says Goran's the best body guy in New South Wales. I'd argue he's the best body guy in the country currently. Like, that dude is a fucking freak.
Yeah.
Like, in the best way possible. I don't mean that as an insult. He is just jacked to the gills, man. It's insane.
Yeah, he looks brilliant. I've got a lot of advice off him about dieting and bulking up, and a lovely bloke to work. He was the first person that I ever wrestled that said to me before the match, I'm the veteran. If there's any fuck-ups, it's my fault. I've never, ever heard that off another wrestler. Usually you hear that I'm a veteran, you know, my way or the highway, and if it fucks up, you cop all the shit. Goran actually said that to me.
So I've gotten in trouble a few times on this podcast from people that listen, because I've said multiple times the issue is there's too many veterans in Australian wrestling that aren't actually veterans. Unfortunately, yeah, you've been around.
Got no skill.
If you've been around for fucking a decade or 20 years or whatever, kudos to you for managing to have that kind of longevity in this cutthroat business with all the bullshit. But longevity doesn't automatically equal fucking veteran, legend, fucking. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, and if I come across as being like a disrespectful rookie for saying that, I'm at this point where I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm never going to do this full time. I'm never going to make a living doing this. If people don't want to book me because they don't like the fucking truth, then whatever. Like, it's just we're meant to be working together, and people like Goran are those that they really, you know, they could probably make claim to being a veteran at this point, and they fucking work together and they make this business better, and it's just too much fucking bullshit in the business, man. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
won't go too off topic, otherwise we'll just rant for fucking an hour. And but like, no, Goran is a fucking freak, man. Like, in the best way possible. I'd love to fucking work with him, and apparently he's keen to come on the pod as well. I just need to get up the courage to fucking actually message him, because I haven't actually met him in person. So it's just this whole like, people, scary.
He's a lovely bloke. Absolutely, he's a big teddy bear. He is a fucking lovely bloke. Absolutely, just a gentleman.
But as we start to kind of, you know, we're about just shy of 50 minutes, so we're actually doing really good for you. I'm surprised Mrs Crossfire hasn't jumped in and asked some of these questions. She's just chilling.
Just chilling.
But I always end, before we go into like the plugs and, you know, upcoming events and socials and yada yada yada, I always end these on a non-wrestling question. And it's funny because the episode that came out last week, by the time this goes up, I actually asked my guests what their favourite Star Wars character. Now, on the entire flip side of that, I know that you have become a massive Trekkie. I'm not. I don't really know much about Star Trek, so I'm honestly not going to know much of what the fuck this answer's going to be. But just for complete transparency, if I can go from Star Wars one week to Star Trek the next, the non-wrestling question to end the official, I guess, interview part of it, Muzzdogg, is who is your favourite Star Trek character and what is your favourite series?
Commander Riker. It's just his over, like the way he, you know, even just the way he sits on his chair. Like, it's just, there's so many jokes made up about it. Like, he's just hilarious. And my favourite series is The Next Generation. That was the first series of Star Trek because my dad used to watch it, and I took his DVDs after he died, and they sat in my cupboard for years. I was going through that whole, you know how you get to the 10-year phase and you just want to be close to them and feel like they're around. So I thought I'll watch a bit of Star Trek and see if that happened. Well, it did, and I got hooked on it. And yeah, massive. I haven't watched it for a while because I don't have Netflix anymore. But I've got one of the guys at the last wrestling show gave me a big bag of original series like Captain Kirk and that.
Oh, fuck
DVDs.
Yeah.
Like
see, they're the ones
series,
that I somewhat know just because I watched bits and pieces when they had like reruns and shit on TV. But
yeah,
like I know like Kirk and Spock and yada yada yada. But like couldn't sit there and tell you who's who and you know who works for who or whatever. But no, I was like, fuck yeah. Like I you know, because I've actually like there's been times where like. Because I've been a bit of a nerd, I'd say, and like there's been times where I've wanted to watch. Like there's been times where like I've looked at the New Generation one and I'm like, should I, shouldn't I? But then there's that part of me that knows that I probably will enjoy it, and I'm probably gonna over obsess, and then I'm just gonna deep dive too far into it.
Hyperfixate.
Yeah, that's the one. Hyperfixate. Last week, actually, while my mate was talking about his favourite Star Wars characters, I brought up Jar Jar Binks. I don't know how big you are on Star Wars, but like everyone makes fun of Jar Jar Binks, and he literally said that Jar Jar Binks is essentially the R-Truth of the Star Wars universe, or R-Truth is the Jar Jar Binks of pro wrestling. And I was like, that fucking popped me so much that I even put it in the description. Is there anyone from the Star Trek universe that you would equate with a professional wrestler just to wrap it back up before we go into the plugs and shit?
Was a professional wrestler, eh? Probably Worf. He's the battle hardened warrior. He'd be like a caveman Ugg style fella, like just wants to go out there and kill everything.
Fucking hell, big meaty meat slapping meat. Fuck yes, that's my style of wrestling.
Yeah, we love the meat slapping in this joint. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'll give Muzzdogg some meat slapping for his birthday. I'm leaving that in. Sue me. It's marked E for explicit for a reason.
That's great.
But did you have anything you wanted to ask before I...
Not really. I should have wrote some questions down or stole some of yours.
No, I feel like we've done pretty good, but like, Before we, do you have anything coming up, directly in the future? Because this will drop this following Sunday, which will be the 20-something. Do you have any shows coming up past that date that I should plug? Or any matches?
Yeah, well, we've got the matches haven't been put out yet, but there's a show at the East Chestnut Bowling Club on March 9th, the next Suplex show. I'll be there. That's all I know at this stage for shows per se.
That's
but there'll definitely be more
in the description when I chop all this together. But awesome. So that's the only place we can see Muzzdogg in the direct future, unless you're stalking and find out where it works. But that would be a little bit weird.
I work night shifts. Everyone's asleep. All the stalkers are asleep when I'm at work anyway.
But where can we find you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter /X, whatever the fuck you want to call it, etc.
I think me TikTok's Muzzdogg 2. I think my Instagram is Muzzdogg 7 or something like that. I've got my Facebook, the Muzzdogg Pro Wrestler page. I've got my Muzzdog's Bodybuilding Journey page. And I've got about 12 other accounts that I can't get access to. I've been getting happy birthdays on them all day, and I can't access them.
Yeah,
they just come up in my feed.
This morning, I was literally looking at them all. I think I had 7 of them, and it was it's his birthday, and I literally had to go back and which one did I which one did I most recently message? Because that was the one that you were most recently. Every time I message you, I'm going to double check that. I'm like, fuck.
Most people, sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be added to groups with 12 different people, and it's just me, them, and all my other accounts with the message. I didn't know what account to message, so I added you all to the group. I'm in a heap of those.
Oh, fucking hell. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook ×2. I can make sure to look at them. But is there anything else you wanted to plug or say or anything before we wrap this up, Muzz?
I'm the first sponsored athlete for Flesh Clothing Australia. And I'm not just saying this because, I'm getting merch to say it. It is legitimately the most comfortable workout clothing. And I've trained for a long time. And before I got this clothing, I was just training me step ones out in the backyard. But now I've got the Flesh Clothing. It's amazing. It's really, really good quality. And it's all advertised on Facebook. If you look on my page, you'll probably see a fair bit of it.
Yeah, well, I did say to the man in charge that the photo that we're going to use for the thumbnail for this, where you're in the singlet and the shorts, that exact combo, 100%. Once I've got this shit sorted and I'm able to actually have the funds and go back to work or whatever, I said I'm definitely going to buy a set because I'm really lacking in shorts in general, because half of them are too big now, which is almost a good thing. But I need more shorts. Can't go past a good fucking singlet. And I'm like, fuck yeah! Seeing the Muzzdogg model, it just fucking won me over even more.
It's so good.
I'll link their socials as well if I remember. I'll try and make a mental note of that. Actually, I'll make an actual note right now. Flesh. Just awesome. The word flesh. But thanks for jumping on, man. As I said, once again, I appreciate you jumping on your birthday of all days. As I said, I did not realise at the time when I scheduled it. I felt so bad this morning when I wished you happy birthday. I was like, fuck, I was like, this dude's probably got shit planned with his family and he's sitting here talking to me. Fuck it.
I've got dinner on with the family tonight down at Peden's Hotel, so any of the marks want to come down and get an autograph from the Muzzdogg, that's where I'll be having me schnitty.
This will go out on Sunday the 25th, and they'll listen to it the day of, and they'll head down and be like, what? Where is he? I'll be like, yep, sorry, too late.
Go down there and be like, fuck, he's not here.
Stitched up, motherfucker.
Can't stalk the Muzz.
But no, as I've said to you many times, man, I'll definitely get you back on at some point and just talk shit about old Attitude Era, fucking early 2000s type shit, and just bullshit whatever you've got going on at the time, and maybe break down a fucking storyline or two or whatever. But no, man, I appreciate you having on, man. As I said, I've been wanting to get you on for a while, but just with all the eye stuff and everything else, it's just been fucking hectic, and trying to read notes has been crazy. But it's getting easier. I'm getting back into the swing of it, so I'm glad to get you back on, and yeah, or get you on for the first time rather. But yeah, what are words?
Have you had all your surgeries now, or what? What's going on there?
So as we record this on the Monday, I'm leaving for Sydney tomorrow on Tuesday, and I'm hoping they don't fucking cancel it because I'll already be halfway fucking there. On Wednesday, the rest of the stitches are eventually coming out. So it'll be a year and 9 months. But yes, on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, so by the time this episode goes out, everything going well, as I said, I'll already be on the way there if they fucking cancel it, so that's going to shit me off. But hey, free holiday, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, but by the time this comes out, the stitches will be out of my eye.
Do they know what caused it all? Because it sort of happened suddenly, didn't it?
Yes and no. So I've always had an eye condition. With just a little bonus stuff here. I've diagnosed with keratoconus, and I've kind of talked about it here and there. But my mum actually was adopted, so we don't know if it was hereditary or if it's random, because it can be both. Where basically my corneas are just fucking mutated, and the one that they're currently working on, I've actually been blind in it since I was 14. And basically, they fixed the right one when I was 16, because I used to have contact lenses in the left because it was my better eye at the time. But because the shape of the eye kept changing, I went through 4-5 different sets of contact lenses because the shape of my eye kept changing. But because the shape of my eye kept changing, my lenses, they basically scratched the fuck out of my eye because they weren't fitting properly. Yeah. So there's like all the scar tissue and that. But anyway, yeah, they did the cornea transplant on the right eye when I was 16. And then they basically, at the time, they said, you've got one good eye, out the fucking door you go, unless, you've got private healthcare and, 20 grand, et cetera, pretty much. So people don't realise the entire time I was wrestling with one eye. And this is the issue of why my dad was like, what if wrestling fucks up your eyes? And I'm like, YOLO, as the kids say. But eventually I got an infection in my eye in early 2021 because I was working as a janitor at the time. Lovely job, but hey, it paid my rent and paid for my wedding, so can't fucking complain with that. Yeah. And basically, my eye almost exploded. Legitimately fucking would have disintegrated because if it's been 13 years actually last week as we record this since I had that surgery. And they're like, for that long, they're shocked that the graft's actually still as strong as it is. But yeah, it almost completely come undone. My eye basically would have fucking disintegrated because of all the pressure and shit. So they were like, can't wrestle ever again, all that bullshit. But they've treated it and they've kept it under control. And then they basically just said, I think, it was a year? Yeah. Almost a year into the treatment, they're like, hey, have you ever thought about getting the left one done? And I was like, if you guys can do that, I haven't had the use of two eyes since I was about 10 years old, properly, because I was off and on, and I used to wear glasses, and then they didn't work, and it went to the lenses, and as I said, since about the age of 14, pretty much, I've basically just been blind in the left eye, and then the right eye started going, so they're like, fuck, they fixed it, but they're like, yeah, we can get you another graft and this and that, and realistically, the right eye, when I got it done, the stitches were in for 10.5 months. Most times when they have it done, 6 months is still usually the top. So even 10 months was crazy. But yeah, this one, the stitches have been in for over a year and a half. As I said, year and 9 months on the 19th. So tomorrow as we go up there, today actually is the 19th. But yeah, a year and 9 months today since I had the surgery. But yeah, they just, basically it's genetic, whatever, but keratoconus was the start of it, and then just the infection in the right eye and kind of all the pressure issues and everything was fuck, it was 2 or 3 different things wrong with just the right eye, and they're like, we'll fix that, and then they're and then finally they're just like, hey, would you like us to fix the left one? And I'm like, well, if that's an option, fucking obviously, but yeah, it could still take up a year to 2 years to get full sight back once the stitches do come out. I probably it still won't be good enough to get my license, but I'm like, bro, if I can just even wear glasses again and sit down and read a book and fucking go to a restaurant and not need help reading the menu or whatever, then fucking that's all I need. And yeah, the left eye will probably go back to being my better eye, because my right eye, although, as I said, the surgery from it is still pristine, there is now scar tissue from the infection that I had 3 years ago. So it's kind of hit and miss a little bit of like light sensitivity and stuff. But yeah, once I get the left eye fixed and can wear glasses, we'll never have 20/20 vision, but it'll be as good as it can be and better than it's ever been since I was 8, 9, 10 years old. So I'm not fucking complaining with that. But we're just ranting. We're here for the Muzzdogg. We don't want to know about my shit. They hear that enough. But no, think what I think that got the Suplex show in Goulburn. I think was the only time. I think it is the only time that I've actually met you in person. So I'm like, fuck. Next time I see you, I'll actually be able to see you properly. Like, look at this.
Oh, the Goulburn show.
Yeah. I think
the infamous turnbuckle snap. That was a good show, wasn't it? Fucking Logan Keane and Miles Malice. The big cunt fucking jumps against the turnbuckle and nearly. I don't know what happened with friggin'. I don't know what happened there, but fuck, it looked dangerous. It looked scary, but it was fucking. It got the cheers, didn't it?
They got it fucking fixed rather quickly, though, didn't they? I remember Sam Driver. He was with ICW at the time. He wasn't on the show, but he was doing ring crew. He just jumps the fucking tables and quickly in the ring. All the referees run out and we're like, fuck. I'm pretty sure, that's the only time I've seen you. So when I finally see you again, I'll actually be able to see you properly and I'll be like, look at this handsome devil.
Nice.
But no, I appreciate you jumping on, man. Happy birthday once again. But I'll let you go and we'll chuck an intro and an outro on this sumbitch and get it up so that way we can start packing for tomorrow. But no, thanks for jumping on, man.
Thanks for having me.
It's good talking to you. Happy birthday.
Didn't even ask a single question. She's just throwing one-liners in here and there. But
I'm trying to get used to asking questions. I haven't really done this yet, so this is my first go around. Got to get used to it.
Muzzdogg popped my wife's interview cherry.
Call me Big Daddy Muzzdogg.
We could have an entire podcast about all the moisture that Muzzdogg causes. We won't take it too far. But no, I appreciate you jumping on, brother.
Not a worry.
See you, mate.
See you, Muzz.
See you, buddy.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Muzzdogg.
Not as good as mine, no.
Isn't that the gimmick these days? Everyone just does a cheap Howard Finkel impression and you can tell that it's fake, but whatever. Maybe I should do that next time I commentate. Be like, by God, what a suplex! By God, what DDT! Sure, I won't look like a complete fuckwit at all. Anyway, that's another issue for another day. How fun was that conversation? I am so genuinely shocked that we managed to cap that at pretty much smack bang on an hour. Like, it'd be a little bit more with this outro and the intro we did, and then the official, hey guys, it's welcome to Conversation, with the little 30-second intro before that. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just ranting now for the sake of ranting, I think, because we've actually got room to spare. But no, I'm very happy with how that conversation goes.
Yeah, I was too. I feel
Mrs
like
Crossfire, Novalee. Oh, you're about to say what you were going to say anyway.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, like, I felt like I should have probably had a little bit more input. Like, I should have said a bit more. But I threw a couple of one-liners in there, and I was like, this is my first time kind of being a part of an interview rather than just us ranting and raving.
We still marked out a lot, though. So we did the ranting and the marking out.
Yeah.
We just need to find something to review. Quick, let's review
something
for the next half an hour.
We can work on that. Yeah.
No, like it was. I think it was good. Muzzdogg said you did good, and he was happy with it. Very, very happy. I've been wanting to get him on for ages. Like, I'm not just blowing smoke when I say that, but again, like, just trying to read my notes.
He's been on there, like, on the list for a long, long time. I have to go up there on the list.
I haven't touched the official list in quite some time, so I can actually go in and cross him off in my little notes section on my phone. Yeah. But, yeah, the song of the week was Mrs Crossfire.
It was Eye of the Tiger by Survivor.
Well, again, I just felt like it was appropriate. He's almost like, as he said in the conversation, he's inspired a lot by Butterbean. Butterbean, obviously, very famous boxer, which, I think everyone that...
Who doesn't know Butterbean?
Me, like, I'm not the biggest boxing fan per se. Like, I love Butterbean. I love the how the fuck do you even say it? The Sioux
What
family?
a word!
Because I think the T's silent, right? Like with Nikita Sioux and stuff, and then like it's like the whole Sioux family, like they've boxed and they're fucking awesome. Obviously, Floyd Money Mayweather runs his mouth, and people didn't like him when he was boxing full time, but still a great boxer. And I loved him even before he made that appearance in the WWE, and the WWE appearance just made me love him even more. And obviously, Mike Tyson is a fucking machine. Everyone knows Mike Tyson or George Foreman, you know. But I think at the end of the day, any casual boxing fan, I should say, when they think boxing, they think Rocky. Every time I hear that song, I just think of like the montages and stuff like that. Like, it's just, you know, it is what it is. But I think it was a great song choice, personally. Maybe I'm just biased because I was the one that picked it, but...
Toot your own horn,
I did float like 2 or 3 songs past you, though, and like you're like, yeah, no, this one works.
That one works, yeah.
But yeah, the match of the week, Rock, Austin, Rock, whichever order you want to say it, I don't give a fuck. I think Rock technically came out first for that one, so it was Rock versus Austin. WrestleMania
Rock, paper,
19.
scissors, who knows?
Yes, the Rock's biggest foe, paper. He's never beaten him at WrestleMania. I demand Rock versus paper at WrestleMania 40.
Rock versus Rattlesnake.
Yes, the Brahma Bull versus the Texas Rattlesnake. WrestleMania 19. As I said, a lot of people point to WrestleMania 17 because of like the nostalgia and the video package and da-da-da. While the video package is amazing and probably still the best, you know, video package for a match, as I said, I still think personally, I think that's the best match. And again, Stone Cold's last match, yada yada. I explained it in the intro. Why am I explaining it again? Rock and Austin at WrestleMania 19 was the match of the week, but wow, I'm genuinely shocked that didn't go longer. But I think even though you didn't ask any questions and you said going forward, you're going to try and think of some of your own questions outside of my core 5, especially like when it's this case for Muzzdogg, where obviously if I get him back on, that won't exist because it's just I don't need to ask him questions that I've already asked him unless it's about stuff that's, hey, what's coming up for the Muzzdogg and yada yada yada. But like the core 5 is just to kind of break the ice for first time guests and just, you know, fill some time and have a great conversation, which I feel it was. He's got, I can't remember what he said the name of the event is or what the chapter was. It's I know they're in season 2 now. I think it's chapter 4 they're up to or chapter 5? I can't fucking remember. I'll put it in the actual description anyway. He said it's coming up on March 9th. So that's the next time you can see the Muzzdogg live. The description for that will be in there. Well, the link for that will be in the description. Again, what are words? I'm just going to leave that in because fuck it. Also in the description will be links to MXW Coastal Chaos and MXW Mildy Kombat, because Mildy Kombat is actually March 2nd, so that happens before that Suplex show, my bad. Because as we record this, we recorded episode 94 yesterday to drop on March 3rd, so it's just fucked me up with the dates. But yeah, the links to the Suplex show, both the MXW shows, and ICW Central West Emma Butler Memorial Show in October. All 4 of those links will be in the description, as will Muzzdog's socials. I will try to remember to link Flash clothing, because again, I genuinely do want to get that singlet short combo. Again, I'm obviously not working out currently, but by the time this goes out, all things considered, I really hope I don't jinx it and they literally cancel it while we're on their way there tomorrow as we record this. But all things considered, by the time this goes out, stitches will be out, which means that I can start doing light exercises at least, so getting some fresh workout clothes would be awesome, especially with how hot it gets in this house is ridiculously hot. Like it's got the aircon on in all of these episodes, and
I'm in here now. What?
100%. Miss Novalee's getting tickets
myself.
On herself now.
Maybe I am.
She's got a promo photo and a logo and this. but no, I enjoyed that convo, and as we said, Miss Novalee, she threw it in the one-liners.
Yeah.
She's going to try and plan more questions in the future.
It's not used to being an actual co-host,
because plans could change, but we're going to say the next 2 episodes, but the next 2 weeks as I record this, I have Samuel Beaton from Pro Wrestling Down Under. We're going to talk just about him being a mark and his funny interactions with Big James as a fan, but now how he's gotten into the PW Down Under writing and stuff. And then I'm going to have superfan Joel Southgate the week after that, so that'll be episodes, I guess, 95 and 96, unless something else gets thrown in between there. But yeah, it's pretty stacked couple of weeks coming up. I think all up I've got 5 weeks of episodes. Like, actually might even be 6 weeks, because I think 1, 2, this will be 3. Oh, so yeah, this will be 3. We just did the Heels one, which will drop the other week. So yeah, six weeks in a row you're going to have content, which is awesome because I'm really trying to get back in the swing of things. I've got like I'm literally just recording in the lounge room, but we've got almost a makeshift studio now with the little coffee tables we picked up. We actually just got 2 brand new ones picked up on the side of the road from the mum-in-law. So shout out to Nova Lee's mum for the new coffee table. That's fucking awesome. It's not even a coffee table. It's almost like a kind of a bedside table, but it's even shorter than that. But it'll fit in the corner.
It's like the old TV tables from like the 70s.
Yeah, it's back in the day.
Put it into
just like a little
TV dinner tables.
I gotta just plug it in
the TV dinner tables.
Plonk it in the corner. Chuck my gear on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, very fun conversation. Thanks for Muzz coming on again.
Thanks,
Happy
Muzz.
birthday once again.
Yeah, happy birthday, man.
Anything else we need to add, or should we wrap this shit up instead of...
Let's wrap this shit up. Wrap it before you tap it. What?
I wouldn't know what that like. Anyway, I am the essential Janelle Crossfire. With me is Miss Nova Lee.
Nova Lee.
You guys were...
Just caught in conversation.
Shaka-laka-laka.
Hey. You stole my line, bitch.
Okay, you guys were just caught...
in conversation.
Shaka-laka-laka.
Still stole it.